Well, here we go then, yeah. More waffle on the internet, right? Understanding the internet. So then, if you look at my last video, I'll show you a bit about, talk a bit about, it's getting Facebook to sell Instagram or WhatsApp. You could then say, who owns the data? The data is produced by the public, which means all the public posts. Do they own the posts that they've written, or the copyright to the posts that they've written? And if they don't, who does? And if then Instagram was to get sold, who then would actually own? And all that's going to happen, see, you got to go down. You have to think of the last big social media before, or what Facebook replaced, and where that went to, and who owns that. But then a lot of businesses a lot of YouTubers use Instagram. How many people would use Instagram if Facebook didn't own it? This is just where we're going to. And then if Facebook sold Instagram, it creates a void. And if it creates a void, someone will fill that void. Doesn't matter whether that's Facebook or Google or Amazon or whatever. Yeah. We're in unprecedented times. Then you think, how many people rely on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Google for ad dollars? A lot of people. YouTube is their job. Facebook, Instagram is their job. TikTok is their job. And then you think, if it wasn't, just how many more people would be unemployed now? We've even got in the UK, the pandemic's about 200 or 300 billion or whatever it is. Facebook could quite easily just mortgage Facebook and pay your pandemic costs. Bang. Done. 24 hours. Yeah. That's the power, the digital power that Facebook has. It can't be stopped. This century or next, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because all it is. And then, see, this is it. What happens if Facebook buys land? The biggest thing that Facebook needs now, and Google, and Amazon, is actual physical land. In the States, what happens if they buy 1,000 acres in the States? Because most of the people that are producing videos for the likes of Facebook and Google live in cars and vans. You've only got to type into YouTube, living in a car, or living in a van, or van tours, or in the UK, narrowboats, people selling houses to use the assets in the capital in their house, instead of sitting in a cold house that they can't afford to heat. Sell the house, buy a narrowboat, live a better quality of life. Sell the house, people are selling the houses and buying a camper van, or buying a van and making it into a camper van, and using the capital from their house while they can still afford to enjoy it. And they're putting a couple 100 watt of solar on the roof and getting completely free energy with a solar charge controller and inverter. They can run things like microwaves and whatever from a camper van, and a fridge and a freezer from a camper van. No need to pay energy companies. There's no need for gas. There's no need for energy. All these fields of solar panels. There's no need for it. Just put 200 watt of solar on your car or your camper van and live in it. But then it gives you less cost, which means you don't have to earn as much, which means you can make more videos. You've got more time to make more videos for Facebook, Google, TikTok, or wherever it is you make your videos. That's the reality of digital life. And the problem is the thing is though, it's not a problem. That's the problem. The problem is it's not a problem. And then you think about all the digital companies, digital tech giants that there are now, and when you have an interest in domain names, which I do, there's been about another 3,000 tech startups now. And the problem is that back in the day, you'd have had to go to like a traditional bank to get venture capital for a tech venture idea, which no banks understood back in the day. And then you had to find out how to fund it. All that has finished. Facebook and Google know how that funding, and Amazon know how that funding works via the ad dollar system, which works, which means that people can enjoy their websites for free, which works. Because people have only got so much money and so many video minutes of their life, they can, if a person's got a family, or they're busy, or they work long hours, off, go out at work at 8 in the morning, don't come back at 8:30 till night, they've got less time to spend on Facebook and Google. So if they reduce their costs, live in a van, they've got another 30, 40 hours they can make content for Google and Facebook. Which means that Google have the data and Facebook have the data, which generates the ad dollars, which gives people more. Eventually, Facebook and Google will employ the world. And then what? There'll be nobody to go and serve coffee in a coffee shop because they're too busy earning a fortune from Facebook, doing nothing, sitting and waffling. The whole society is going to be digitalised, its choice on Facebook and Google's. The public, you get all these job descriptions on job ads. You got to pay, but you need to have this experience. Oh, no, you don't. All you need to do is not have much living cost. Have a smartphone and waffle into it. That's the future. And if people want to watch what you waffle about, they'll pay. You'll get ad dollars for it, and the ad dollars will be accruable, and you get to a stage where it just can't stop almost. Well, it can stop. The ad dollars will just accrue this year, next year, the year after. You've got videos now on YouTube that have been about for 10 years or 11 years, still accruing ad dollars. But you're all competing for the same video minutes of a person's time. A person may only have 2 hours a day to spend on. Well, you can go back 20 years. Right? I was probably online about 20 years ago. So you can go back 20 years, and you think then how people said, well, I haven't got time to go on the internet. Well, they've actually made time to go on the internet. It just means that instead of having 8 hours sleep, they have 4 hours sleep and they've got 4 hours extra internet. Or, instead of doing a 40-hour week, you do a 20-hour week, and that gives you another 20 hours on the internet. And that's why your data on your phone, years ago, it used to be like nothing at all. And now you're getting towards unlimited data. Eventually, you won't be able to buy a phone without it having automatic unlimited data for your phone, for streaming or whatever. And then you think, well, there's no need for Wi-Fi then, because what's the point of having Wi-Fi if you've got unlimited data? You can just constantly stream. The world is changing, and Facebook and Google pretty much own it. That's the reality of the internet. And it can't stop. I'm a domain name investor now, and just like you can't, if I can type in a domain, you'd have to guess what I'm typing in. But for the time you to guess, get in your account and try and outguess me, I've bought it and I own that domain. The same as with Facebook and Google. The public can't outguess them because they are already in a search engine. They've already got the digital idea. They know how it's going to work. They can fund the idea, and all they've got to do is buy the website address for it. And if they're in their account, nobody anywhere in the world can guess what they're thinking when they buy the website address. And that's it.